Hey everyone, my name is Joe. This is Simplify Your Journey, a channel I created to help people, that may be kind of struggling, going through the same things as me. This channel, this community, I'm hoping that I can grow into, a community of people that care for, support, and, help each other as we grow and figure things out in life. So yeah, I appreciate you tuning in. Today's topic is going to be on something that's sort of kind of relatively unknown in the world of mental health and anxiety, although it's actually pretty common. Most people experience it in their lives, and that is called depersonalization and derealization, also known as DPDR. And to summarize kind of quickly what DPDR is, for most people at least, it definitely can manifest and show itself in many different ways, but I think the vast majority of people, it shows itself up as this symptom of feeling like you're living in a dreamlike state and kind of just detached from reality and yourself. And that's at least how it was for me personally. And it was pretty terrifying. And as I had touched on before, it actually is very common. About 50% of the population experiences it to some degree at some point in their life, but usually in a passing moment, and they don't fixate on it and doesn't turn into anything more. But for a small majority, I think that's 2%, it develops into this chronic disorder that can really, really derail your life and kind of just set you down this really scary path. And to expand on that, some people also describe it sort of as this feeling of watching or living in a movie, and other people kind of as this sense of you're watching yourself from outside of your body, almost like in the third person. So it makes you sort of unsure of what's real and what's not, and makes you kind of overanalyze, question everything that's going on around you, basic things that you took for granted before. Now you're wondering, for me, it was these weird experiences where I would question why we stop at red lights and then we go on green, and it was just stuff that doesn't even make sense, but stuff that you grow up with and becomes the norm to you, is you just overanalyzing every single little thing that you're experiencing and you go through in life that you used to just go through mindlessly. Now it's just this constant questioning of everything, and it kind of really wears you down, and then it turns into this almost chronic state of panic. And so everything, again, when you're questioning everything, it's like you don't really, it makes you unsure of what's real and what's not. So you're constantly just worrying about all these different things, and then it triggers anxiety, and they just kind of build off each other, the DPDR and the anxiety, and they just build each other up until it turns into this chronic. Basically, for me, it was like a 24/7 panic attack. It felt like almost from the moment I woke up, if I could fall asleep throughout the whole day, it was just constantly worrying about if I was real or not and if I was going to lose my mind. And it was, again, just I don't know how else to describe it, but terrifying. I'm going to read off some of the more common symptoms, just because it's a lot to keep track of. But some of the more common ones are you feel like you're not real, memory loss, a blank mind, emotionally feeling numb and drained. You just kind of have weird, odd fears and obsessions. Fear of going insane, crazy. That was kind of the base one for me. Feeling like you're not real, visual distortions. For me, that was kind of like I'd see like shadows or things moving, and I wouldn't, I wasn't full on hallucinating or anything, but it was definitely scary because I'd feel like, there were things passing by me or things I couldn't see. Another are feeling like you can't or are losing control over what you say or how you move. Fatigues, panic attacks, insomnia. Insomnia was another big one for me. There was like a period of 3 days where I think I got like an hour of sleep total and just was so drained. And I just would try to go to sleep, and my mind it would just turn into a panic attack within 15 minutes, and just could not fall asleep to save my life. One of the other really scary things with these symptoms is DP versus psychosis. You can kind of bounce between those and feel like, oh man, I'm losing my mind. But I'll just touch on this quickly. I can make a longer video in the future, but just to keep in mind with these two things, a big distinction is that with DPDR, you're able to do what's called reality testing, where you have the knowledge that this is a feeling and you still are, able to keep this consciousness about you. But with psychosis, there's usually going to be full-on delusions or hallucinations that come with that actually disconnect you from reality. So that's a big thing to keep in mind if you are feeling that way, like, oh man, am I developing a psychosis? And that's just a pretty easy way to tell yourself and reassure yourself that you're not. And another point I'll add to that is that the simple fact that you're, if you're still worried about, if you're actually losing your mind versus if you're just having DPDR, is that you're seeking help and that you're aware of these scary thoughts and feelings. So, because, someone that's psychotic or losing their mind that's not something you're going to be aware of. So again, the fact you're here looking for help and trying to figure out what's going on is, just, trust that's all the reason and belief you need to know that you are indeed okay. Which leads me to talk about my personal experience and story with this. So I was actually in a pretty good spot with my mental health and anxiety, and then had a really unfortunate incident happen with one of my actually former best friends, someone I really cared about. I ended up going on this vacation. Alcohol was kind of involved. It was involved. And he ended up attacking me twice in a night over this girl. That's a super, super shortened version of that story. But yeah, it was very weird, and he never wanted to talk about it. I tried to talk with him about this, but it just never turned into anything, and I haven't seen him since. But from that, I developed there was a really intense level of anxiety that came back and ended up transforming into depersonalization and derealization. And I actually, I was kind of unsure what it was at first. And it took me a long time to figure out. I was going to therapy. I was trying to figure it out. I was Googling my symptoms, just like looking for any amount of hope while I was experiencing this. And it led me through, again, going to therapy and stuff. And he, I tried to explain to him I have all these really weird feelings. I feel like I'm not real and all this stuff. And was going through all these different symptoms, like the insomnia I mentioned previously. Just I couldn't sleep at night. Just an emotional numbness. I felt like there was no really joy or sadness in my life. I just felt like nothing besides, when the panic set in, then there was pretty intense fear. And then, there were things like just like really bad, really bad memory loss. And I'm trying to look through my other stuff, but yeah, memory loss was one of the other really bad things. And I just I'd walk into a room, completely forget why I went in there. I'd be driving or, feel like I don't know where I am. It was just all these really, really scared feelings that, I had no explanation for. And I was just living like this for months and months, and I would try to go on these walks in the morning. I was so in my head and so freaking out about every little small thing, questioning every little small thing, and all these symptoms and questioning reality just, continually made things worse and worse. So thankfully one day I stumbled upon, I'll link these, but this guy named Sean O'Connor, and he created this thing. He's kind of an expert in depersonalization, right? He's done a lot of research into it. He's created this book called the DP Manual, but basically I stumbled upon one of his YouTube videos where he went over the top 10 symptoms of DPDR, and it just described what I was going through to a T. So I felt like this huge sense of relief. I was still battling it, but just to finally know that I wasn't alone was such a big thing for me. So I watched his videos. I bought his manual thing, and I started applying some of the principles to my life. I didn't find everything he taught useful for my case, but a lot of it was extremely helpful. So one of the big ones I'd share is that it's important to think of DPDR as a bully, in the sense that he's going to keep picking on you. Every day you wake up and you're scared of it, and you give in to the thoughts and the feelings, and you'll stay inside, you'll stay in your bed, or you won't go out, live life as you normally do. By doing that, you're letting the DPDR and the anxiety control your actions and dictate what you do. And by doing that, you're letting it know that it's bothering you, and it's gonna stay around. It's gonna continue to hound you and not leave you alone. But one of the biggest things for me was when I finally decided, I'm not gonna stay inside. I'm gonna visualize and think about how I would live if I wasn't going through DPDR, and I'm gonna live exactly like that. And it would be awesome if that worked in one day. It took still a long time and a lot of consistent, daily efforts towards, just sticking to the schedule. But eventually, very slowly, it got better and better. Eventually, the DPDR mostly went away. I still kind of battle it here and there, but I'm kind of able to calm it down and realize the situation I'm in and get myself out of it. But that's just a huge thing. It's think of it as the bullet that's trying to pick on you, and if you ignore it, pay it no mind, just continue along with your life as you would normally, then it will go away and it will leave you alone and you'll return back to normal. So that's one of the biggest things for me. And I hope that's helpful for you. And another big thing in overcoming it, I'd say, is, fighting it on a physical level, and, ignoring it is important. You got to sometimes, you still have a regular life, work, job, family, whatever it may be, that you have to give some time and attention to. So that's important to continue to distract yourself, carry about with your normal schedule, and try to, distract yourself, keep yourself occupied. But there are going to be times where the DPDR seems very overwhelming and it's just attacking you nonstop. At that point, sometimes I found it tremendously helpful, at least to sit with it, try to breathe through it, get through some meditation, or I like a 4-8 expansion breath, to just let the DPDR, whatever feelings it wants to throw at you, let them come at you. And if you're able to sit through it, it proves to yourself and your body that, at the end of it, nothing's going to happen. At the end of it, it's a panic attack, it's anxiety. It doesn't lead to anything more. And if you're able to sit through that and prove that to your body, that helps at such an immense level, because you're proving to yourself that it can't hurt you. It's all in your head. It's these fears that you've conjured up in your mind that, they just are attacking you all day long. And again, if you can just sit with it, feel it, breathe through it, you'll prove to yourself and you'll show yourself that it's really nothing to be scared of. Another big thing I'd say is to keep proper perspective while you're recovering. As you start to feel better, you may have 3-4 days in a row where you're feeling good, and then it's going to come back one day after those few days and just come at you, and it's going to feel almost even worse than before, because, you had a few days in a row where you felt relatively normal or good. So it's important to sometimes sit with that and understand, it's not going to be a straight, easy path. It's good to think of it as, like if you're scaling a mountain, there's going to be certain paths where, it's a little easier to walk, but other paths where you're going to have to pull yourself up, and there's going to be jagged rocks, and, you might have to find another way around. You might have to backtrack a little bit. So there's going to be all these different variables. But if you can just keep a proper perspective and understand, look back sometimes on how far you've come, if you're sleeping more, just take these small victories and these small wins. Just understand that you are going on the right path, and just continue to do what you're doing. And I can make a longer video also on the road to recovery, because I could definitely get more in depth on that. And I think it is a topic I like to hear other people talk about when I was kind of going through it. So yeah, if you guys want to hear more about that, I can talk more about that. But yeah, just to kind of summarize things, this is good. It's a long journey, this road to recovery. I mean, some people, they just don't set a timeline for yourself, because everyone's going to be different, and everyone has it to different levels, and it manifests itself in different symptoms for different people. So, just stay consistent. I think, again, not letting it dictate your actions, continue to live life as you normally do, is the biggest thing. It will be so tremendously helpful. I guarantee that will get you over this and help you overcome it. And just keeping that proper perspective, just continuing to push each and every day, knowing you will get better. I love to talk about this stuff with people, so if if you want to follow me on TikTok or, subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. Again, and I'm going to respond to everyone. I'm happy to have conversations with people, even talk one-on-one. I really enjoy, at least trying to help other people and sharing my experiences, because, again, this is stuff I'm still going through, and I think it helps to talk about. So, if any of this resonated with you, again, please reach out, and I appreciate you watching the video. Thank you.